going on? Welcome to the channel Dream It Make It. Today we are hanging some ribs on the Oklahoma Joe Bronco. Alright, so just a minute ago I went out and I got the drum fired up. I just filled my charcoal basket with some charcoal briquettes, and then I lit up on one side of it so that it'll slowly burn across. I did go ahead and fill the whole basket up, even though I don't think it will use it, but I did that because I always want to have more than enough. Whatever I have left over I put in a bucket and I use later when I'm grilling or something like that. Let's go ahead and prep these ribs. Alright, so an easy way to get the membrane off is simply find one of the bones in the center of the rib, take your fingernail and dig up underneath that membrane down that bone line and just scrape all the way across, pulling it up. And once you're there, just simply pull across, pull across all the way down, and then finish it out over here. And if it is hard to hold on to, grab just like a paper towel. And there it is, membrane off. I haven't done any type of trimming on these, and I'm not going to do a whole lot, but I definitely want to get rid of that little floppy thing. All it's going to do is burn. So I got that off of there. Then as far as trimming goes, I'm really not going to do anything unless it just looks bad. In fact, this whole portion of the rib right here, I'm just going to cut off. It's not going to survive that cook. So let's just cut this off, get that off of there, set that to the side, and then everything else looks okay to me. I'm good with that. Same thing with this. Any of this flappiness that you see right here, we just want to get that cut off. It won't do us any good. All right. I'm gonna let everything else on this rack stay. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Flip it over. Yeah, I'm gonna let all that stay right there. All right, so to get these ribs hung, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to hook them as low as I can get them down the bones, which on this rack looks like about the 1, 2, 3, past the third bone. So we're just gonna get that hook placed in there. Actually, that was, yep, that's it right there. That'll work perfect. Alright, so I went ahead and got the hooks in the ribs because I don't want to mess up my seasoning trying to get these hooks in them after I get them all seasoned up. So, speaking of seasoning, let's go ahead and get a little bit of mustard. And I'm going to do all these the exact same, but I'm only going to show one rack. I'm going to get this mustard rubbed into all of the rib on the bottom and top side. Today we are using Somebody Slap Me That's Good barbecue pork seasoning. This stuff is so stinking good. Love it. So we're gonna get this rib seasoned up on the bottom side. You know what? You can't see none of that. right, I went ahead and got this seasoned up with Somebody Slap Me, That's Good barbecue pork rub. All right, we got the coals going. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm going to set a chunk of wood right there on those coals. And then I'm also going to just set a few more in here as that fire spreads across. Have some more smoke flavor going. So we'll let that get up, and then we're gonna wait till this drum comes up to temp, and then get these ribs hung. All right, so I went ahead and got the drum set up. I had to take the diffuser plate out to keep from the ribs hitting that. So we're gonna go ahead and get these ribs right around here. We're just gonna hang them right there. Get this next rack of ribs right around. Get them hung right there. And then the third rack. We'll get hung right there. We're gonna close this lid down. All right, so the drum has come up to 225. We've got the ribs hung on there. I'm actually not gonna cook at 225. I'm gonna let the drum come up to about 250 to 275. That's the temperature we're gonna be cooking at today. And then, so I'm gonna let those sit, like I said, for 2 hours, and then I'll check back with you. We'll see where we're at. All right, so it's starting to creep up on that 250 mark. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kick this back to about right there. I've got my exhaust fully open, my intake right there. This should start sitting between 250 and 275 and just sit there and hold. Gonna have to get that bad boy on the charger. All right, so it's been about an hour and a half, so I'm gonna go ahead and check on these ribs real quick. Let's open this lid and look, see what's going on. We have been running around 275, 280, somewhere in there. They are looking dark on the edges. All right, so I'm gonna take my hook, just grab onto the rack of ribs, pull them up, spritz them. All right, so you really want to make sure that you do that as quick as possible so those flames don't cook up, especially without that diffuser in there. You don't want those flames start burning your ribs down there. So get the lid up, get them spritzed down as fast as possible, get that lid shut back down, and continue cooking. That's what I'm talking about. When you kick that lid open right there, those temps kick up real fast and they'll get away from you. It'll come back down though. It'll be all right. All right, these ribs have been on here for 3.5 hours. They are done. We're gonna get these pulled off and wrapped up. And what we're gonna do is I've set my wrapping station up on my Longhorn here to make things easier and kind of out of the wind. So I'm gonna take good scoop of lard, set it right in the middle of my wrapping paper. So normally I use smoked lard, but because I didn't have a grate in there, I had nothing to set my lard on to smoke. So we're just gonna use some unsmoked lard on these ribs. Got the lard there. I'm also gonna take some seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and just dump in some more seasoning because that lard will mellow the seasoning out. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it some more, and then let's go ahead and get a rack of ribs. I'm gonna pull the center one out. There we go, look at that right there. Nice and dark. and I'm going to lay the ribs meat side down. I'm going to attempt to get this hook without burning my hand. I'm gonna have to get some gloves for the future ones so I don't burn myself. There it is. All right. Then I'm gonna take the foil, wrap it up and over, up and over, bring it this way. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set them here to the side. We're just gonna let them rest. I'm gonna let them rest in this smoker here, and I'm gonna do the other 2 racks of ribs just like that. I did do some internal temp checking on them, and they were probing about 203. I think the hottest one was like 205. They're probably going to be a little more tender than I typically like. They're probably going to be fall off the bone, and I like just to bite off the bone. But we'll see. We'll check it out. I'm going to get these done, and then here in a little bit, we'll cut into these ribs. All right, so this was a very quick ribs cook, 3.5 hours. When I first started this cook, I was thinking 350 to 375, and I was running about 375 base the whole time, except for the last 30 minutes. I ran closer to the 300 mark after those flames kicked up real big, and these things got done really quick. I'm not gonna complain. I'm hungry. I thought I was gonna do these for like leftover lunches and stuff throughout the week, but because they got done so quick, I get to eat them for dinner tonight. Now I've got my Inkbird instant read right here, and it is showing 142. They've come down to 142, a perfect serving temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my knife and open this rack. I got the little rack here. Let's see if we can hold that up and show that off right there. All right. Then I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what? I'm gonna flip this back over. I like cutting with the meat down. There's that rib right there. Let's get a bite, see what it's like. Oh man. Okay, let's talk for a minute. So I have been doing this, these ribs with Sucklebuster's 1836 rub, and I absolutely love like a salt and pepper rib. They're my favorite. This right here, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have some sugar in it. That's why they got so much darker, because that sugar tends to caramelize, and the sweetness is so good. Now this flavor profile is salt and peppery, however it has a sweetness to it, with just like a hint of spice, like nothing to be like, oh, that's a spicy rib. No, just like a touch. It's a really good flavor profile when it comes to pork, especially if you like that salt and pepper vibe, which I do, and typically I go that salt and pepper route. Man, that is so good. Like normally, like I go for the salt and pepper because I don't want that sweet. I can eat a bunch of salt and pepper ribs. I can only have a couple sweet ones, and then I start feeling kind of sick and stuff because of all the sugar. But this right here, and I thought that these were going to be like fall off the bone. They are not. They are bite off. Ribs in 3.5 hours. Love that. Oh man, I can't wait to share these with the family. They're gonna love them. You gotta pick yourself up a bottle of Somebody Slap Me That's Good pork rub. It is phenomenal. Love it. Wow. Woo-hoo. I'm gonna eat a lot of these. They're all inside. I may eat this whole rack. And they'll never know. I don't think I told them how many racks of ribs I cooked. Except for Chas. She knows. Anyways, if you liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next cook.